I have a confession. So I've gotten to be kind of friends with my mailman,
Mm-hmm.
and that is because I do so much shipping, and I like to bribe my mailman, who's actually a
What do you
woman.
bribe your mail person with?
So I bribe her with like snacks and beverages and just actually being a human and saying hello.
Oh my God. My mail
Popsicles.
person will not even pick up my mail anymore.
Well, I started using the thing where like she has to come to my door and like pick up boxes for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was like, hey, can I get you a beverage? And she likes coconut water. So I have the good coconut water. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, here's a coconut water. And then the one day I gave her like some cookies I had made. I made these awesome oatmeal cookies. So I gave her my oatmeal cookies. And then I was like, I had popsicles. So I gave her a popsicle on a day that got to be like 89 here. I gave her a popsicle. And then I'm not always here, but like if I know I have boxes, I'll
Mhm.
like leave her like just like like a little like care package of like granola bars or something that I know she
Oh my
likes.
God.
Yeah,
You're
so
so
I've become
nice.
kind of good friends with her, is the sense that like I try to take nice care of her.
Mhm.
Her job is shitty, so I'm trying to take good care of
Yeah.
my post office people. And today she dropped off, and I kid you not, it was like a really huge package, and she's like, "Can I ask you what this is?" And I was like, "I think it's my stripper pole."
Amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
And
Oh
she
my
really,
God.
so she goes like this. She goes, "Oh my God, I have one too."
Oh my
That's
God.
the best part.
I love her. I love her. This is
She's like, "If you
amazing.
need help setting up, let me know."
That is so freaking awesome. You guys just like
Yeah.
achieved a new level of relationship. I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, because I've had my stripper pole for a while, but I opened it to set it up and it was actually missing a part. So I called the company and I was like, "Hi, so I've had this stripper pole and I ordered it in like November and like the beginning of November and it's missing a part." Like I showed them a picture of the box. I'm like, "There's an entire section just missing and I hadn't opened it until
No.
then." And like, "We're sorry, we'll just send you out a new one and have this one picked up. We had a whole bunch of them that this piece was missing. We apologize, blah blah blah." And so they sent it out really quickly.
Nice.
Right. And I was like, "Do you want this one back?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And so UPS is going to come by in a couple of days and pick that one up. But I just now have like a BFF who like is a male person and a stripper pole person because this is
Dude, that
Vegas,
stuff is
baby.
so, I mean, definitely very Vegas. That's also really difficult. Like that's like hardcore.
Yeah. No, I had done in October. In October, I did this like body movement confidence workshop that like I was really excited about doing. And at that time, they gave you like a discount to order a pole, and so I ordered a pole, and I just hadn't had the opportunity to set it up yet.
Mhm.
And I was really excited about getting it. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to do any kind of weird tricks or anything on it. I don't know if that's ever going to be for me, but it's excellent for grip strength, which Alex is
Mhm.
always talking about.
Mhm.
And also just like it's really nice to just get like into your body and feel very like confident about yourself. And it doesn't take up huge amounts of space, though
No.
I I did have to move a bunch of furniture around to like make room for it.
Right, so you could like spin it around.
Yeah, so I could spin around on it. Um, I wanted to put it in my living room, but my ceiling is angled, and
Oh.
I didn't want to pay the extra. Like it's like $150 for like a ceiling mount for like the angled ones.
No. So where'd you put it?
So I'm gonna put it in the bedroom, and it's okay there because there's
Mhm.
also like all these like I have a bunch of mirrored doors there. So
Where naturally a stripper pole should go.
I mean, bedroom where mirrors are, it seems
Yeah.
great.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
I can see a lot of fun things happening.
yeah. So like that seems great. And then my ceiling's not as high there, so it's more stable. And I have to go find where like the you have to put it on a beam. So I have to go put it on a
Oh,
I have to go you have to put it on a beam. So I have to go
right.
like find I have to go like a go find the beam.
Stud detector.
Yes, the detector, my ceiling,
And
the
I'm like, so you got
my
to detect some
ceiling.
studs in your
In my
ceiling so you
ceiling.
can put up your pole.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what she was talking to me about. She said, "If you need any help to set it up or anything, sometimes you need two people to help set it up. Let me know." And I got one that was cut. That's I think it's like I can't remember what it's covered in, but it's like covered so that
Mhm.
because like I have trouble with metal on my body, so it's like it's not like a chrome pole. It's a different kind of pole. So
Mm.
Special.
Well, I
So
cannot wait to see it on social media.
pull information, people. And if you're out there and you're like, oh my God, that's totally me too, let me know.
Pull
I'm a newbie.
fluencers.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Curious minds. All right. Well, on that note, let's get this party started. Hi, I'm Cybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses, running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it all out. But we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to make six figures and beyond.
Be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
A bunch of it totally sucks. So let's get started.
Welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we're talking about future forecasting for your business and why you're probably not doing it, even though you should be.
And what service providers can learn from paying attention to what's going on in the world while making plans for their own business. Ooh, that's a mouthful, guys. Oh my gosh, this is big, heavy-weighted these. Yeah.
It's a big deal. So tell us about the inspiration for today's episode.
So I actually do a lot of kind of forecasting for my business. And I was listening to a Marketplace Money, which is something I listen to every single day. And I love, once again, we've talked about it before. I love Kai Risdell. He's so dreamy. His voice is so dreamy. But I actually forecast for my business. And I was thinking to myself as I was listening that I wonder if anybody else out there forecasts for their business or even understands what that is. Which is the idea that you listen to what's going on in the world right now, and then imagine, based on the stuff that's going on now, what the future, say month, 6 months, a year, is going to look like, and start making plans right now for that time period based on the stuff that's happening right now. Now, I know that can be really scary, especially like pandemic land, like hard to think about the future like that. Some people, that's a lot of anxiety. But that is what future forecasting can be like. Sometimes it's about running numbers and stuff. But for me, future forecasting is actually just like listening to kind of what's going on in the world and kind of making plans based on that.
Which it feels like really a smart thing to do right now. I just went to the gas station yesterday and I haven't been driving all month because it cost $70 and I did not even fill up my tank. Right. So I think, responding to what's happening in the world, because our businesses don't live in silos. We don't live in silos, and making sure that we're not just like trucking along, pretending like it's all the same when it's not.
Right. So one of the things that I talk that, so like if you've listened to the episode from way, way back, you'll actually hear me talk about sometimes the forecasting that I might have been doing. So before the pandemic actually happened, I talked about the fact that stuff was going on in China, and that's before like COVID happened. And I was like, oh, I'm pre-buying all my gloves right now. I foresee a chain of supply problem. And I kind of loaded all of my stuff, and I'm still going through my gloves and some of my stuff. And this is 2 years later, because that's how concerned I was with supply chain. Now, what are we all talking about right now? Supply chain issue. Right. Well, and supply chain issues.
Yeah.
A year ago, I was like, oh, well, I really see a problem with inflation. And we talked about it on an episode. I was really concerned with inflation. What are we talking about right now? Inflation. So, and it's not just because it's not because I'm like, oh, I'm a genius. It's because I pay attention to what's going on. And I also listen to kind of like the smart people who are talking about things.
It was like the hottie with the body, Kai Risdell. Is that what you mean?
I have no idea what he looks like, but his voice is so dreamy.
I need to start listening to this. I want to learn more about money and then be thinking about Kai Risdell or whatever his name is.
So one of the things that happened on this episode that I was really intrigued by, because this is something that I have been thinking about, and as somebody who coaches people in business, I especially pay attention to when they have segments on small businesses. They were talking about the future of kind of small businesses and how right now what they're seeing for the next coming year is that people are finally going back and using services, and that they see people getting really excited about going back into the workplace. That means physically going back into the workplace again. Yeah. So for what does that mean for you? It means you're your hours might need to change. So if you're like, oh, my people are just coming in at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and on a Wednesday, you might find that that doesn't happen again because they can't,
Right.
because they're actually going
Right.
into businesses again. Or if you are somebody who is in a service industry and you're like, oh, still been struggling because people aren't coming in, maybe you're finding that they are coming back in and they're feeling less afraid and you're like, this is great. And so they talked to two people who they said were in the service industry. One of the people was a person who owned a burger place, and one of
Mm.
them had a kind of massage spa.
Mm-hmm.
And so the burger person was like, yeah, I mean, it's been hard. We definitely see an uptick in people coming into the restaurant and it's been great, but we've had to raise our prices. Our hamburgers, which used to be like $8 or $9 and are $14.
Oh,
So,
wow.
right. Okay. So I want you to make sure you listen to the pricing on that. They used to be $8 or $9 and they're $14.
It's like
Okay.
almost double, not quite,
Right.
but definitely a lot. Yeah.
Then they talked to the spa person, essentially. This person owns a massage place. And she was like, yeah, we're booked out, 3 months into the future. She goes, it's great. She goes, and because of that, we've really been able to, kind of like ease our pricing and just kind of like mediate it and keep it like the same.
There's
And
no way you can be paying $14 for a burger and not change your spa prices. I'm sorry.
that is correct.
Yeah.
But because his costs in his mind, his is every day. He is
Right.
literally paying for a hamburger, physical things all the time. So he sees those costs in a book on a
Super
piece of paper.
tangible. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Whereas the person who owns that spa, she's sitting there being like, well, I mean, maybe she had a backlog of products. She's only paying people. Her overhead is just like maybe these unseen costs that she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand that she's paying for gas. She doesn't understand that her costs for her electricity is going to start going up, because
Right.
all of those costs are going to start going up, everyone. Your cost for your electricity in your home is going to go up. Your gas, all of these things are going to start going up.
It's just so
Shipping
interesting to think
costs
about.
have
Yeah.
gone up. Everything
Oh, so much. Yeah.
everything is going up, and it is not going to be coming down anytime super soon, if
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. I mean, we talked personally, you and I, about raising shipping prices. I raised product prices on physical
Yeah.
products. It's just like, it's so expensive.
Yeah. So she sat around saying, well, I don't need to increase rates. And he was like, I had to increase rates. And understand that he said people understood, because people are used to right now understanding that costs are going up. So this is a good time for pricing to go up because people understand it. He didn't say
It's
they had
like
to
more
like it,
forgiven.
right?
Yeah.
But they understand it. They might not later, but because they're like, well, why didn't you increase prices then? That's what I expected to be. Now, all of a sudden, now you're the only person increasing prices. You
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that you are increasing prices at the time that the market is increasing prices, not
That's a
later when suddenly you feel the pinch.
really good point. What about speaking of like product-based restaurant stuff, one of our
Mhm.
favorite restaurants, prices remained similar-ish, but portion sizes decreased.
Yeah, exactly.
So would you, like, as a consumer and just like, thinking of forecasting, is it better to decrease a portion size or raise a price or both or
Yeah, I think
neither?
it's like you meet. I mean, you have to make choices for yourself, but I think it's kind of a meeting in the middle. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure that burger place is like, we decreased the, maybe the condiments that we put on. We
Yeah,
saw where
less
we could.
fries.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of places they don't give you the utensils anymore automatically. They ask you if you need ketchup, or maybe they used to not. All of these little pieces matter in the grand scheme
Mhm.
of things. It matters.
Yeah, 'cause it
I
all
don't
adds
automatically
up.
give bags anymore to my product because like it just, first of all, it's hard to get them, and B, it just costs so much more money for bags.
Mhm. Mhm. That's such a great point. So, if people aren't spending a lot on goods, that would make me think that like product,
Mhm.
right? Like, serums, lotions, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they are spending on services, like is our only option at this point to raise prices? Is like that the only thing that we can do moving forward?
So once again, when you're looking at forecasting, you kind of like, you start to look at your business. And so when you're forecasting, you're looking at your business in relation to everyone else's. So start looking, this is when you dig into your numbers. And
Mhm.
also you start asking people. So this is when you'd also send out a survey, right? This is a good time to send out a survey, or to like, you can just ask if you don't want to send a survey, but like, how are you feeling about X, Y, and Z? So you might want to just ask your people. So if I created a new menu, how would you feel about that? How are you thinking about this pricing with this? I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about putting on a shorter service, a longer service that maybe has less fancy product on it. So as estheticians, we sometimes forget that we control what product goes on people and that they have no idea what goes on in that spot.
No, they're laying there with their eyes closed.
Yeah. So for a lot of times for me is I can use like an LED light longer and give a little bit more massage, but I don't have to use as many products.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And time is money. Don't forget, time is money. But a lot of times people, especially when they want a service, they want more time and they actually don't need as many like products going on their skin.
Yeah. Yep. I love too what you're saying about just like asking people. We've talked about that before. Just like ask the question, what do the people want? Would they be interested? And like you probably already have an idea of like if you were to change anything, what would it be? So definitely ask your people exactly in what you said. If I were to do this, or I'm thinking about doing da 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 da, is that something you'd be interested in? What would it have to include for it
Right.
to
What
be a
would it
yes
have
or
to
something like
include is such a good way to put it. So, Alex, you just mentioned when we were talking that you are sending out a kind of a new offer to people. Talk about that for a second.
that? So I, have been simplifying, right? Narrowing down the products, but finding like what works best, not just for me personally to deliver, but what for the client gives them the best results
Mm-hmm.
for them to stick around, all of those things.
Yeah.
And I found that doing what I call a mobility assessment, which is basically like a 2-session one-on-one kind of jump start to get them their personalized mobility plan together and send them on their way, is super effective.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to kind of get to the point to like iron out the details of how I wanted to show up and like what it needed to be priced at and like how my time is involved, all of those things. And that is like good now. And I had been offering it only as like a bonus if you subscribe to the membership for the year. So you could pay per month, or you could pay for the year, get a little bit of a discount on your monthly payments, and then also get this thing for free because I want you to stick around for the year. And I also want you to get this thing. And then realize, well, this was really great. People are getting great results and they're happy. If they're happy, I'm happy. And then they're here for a year. Cool,
Mm-hmm.
let's do this. So for me, it wasn't about cutting down sizes or anything like that, and not necessarily raising prices at this moment in time. But how could I add on a service that I'm already offering to a person who is like ready for that next best thing? So in this next iteration, there'll be the option to buy the membership plus a mobility assessment at a little bit of a discount, and then the year plus the mobility assessment. And so they'll have those 3
Exactly.
options to pick from.
Exactly. And sometimes for some people, this is such a good strategy because when people are already your clients, you want to just offer them something more that they're like, ooh, I do want this. And once again, future forecasting is people want more service. They want more service and they want to support you still, but also the other thing that I'm forecasting right now, and I'm saying it right now, and this is just what I'm seeing in the world when I talk to businesses, people are done. People are through. And what I mean by that is, how like we've kind of been in 2020, people were like, I'm here to support you. I'm here to support your business. I'll do whatever it takes, right? 2021, people are like, okay, I can be rallied. I'm doing it for you. I'm here for you.
Tired.
Right now they're like, listen, bitch,
I'm fucking
I'm just trying
tired.
to survive, okay?
Yeah.
What about me and my needs? Okay. This is where people are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to offer them that service. Whatever the service is that makes them feel like they're alive again, that they're
Mm-hmm.
important, and it's all about them.
Supported.
Yes.
Yes. 100%.
This is my future forecasting. All your marketing needs to go towards that. You, not you, them, right? That's what
Yeah.
we're looking at.
Yeah. That's actually a really great point because I'm like, I am tired.
Yes, because people are just like, I can't take it anymore. I can't. And once again, when you're looking at the world, you're looking at the future forecast. And I mentioned this to somebody else the other day. I'm like, don't we have a presidential election coming up real soon? And
Yeah, we're not really talking about it.
we're not really talking about it, but like this would be the time where usually we would be. And I'm going to straight up tell you that historically, anytime we have a presidential election, business tanks because
Yeah, because
people are
people get all
just,
nervous.
yeah, people are just like, what? So I'm already seeing what happens when people are nervous, which is people like hunker down and are just kind of like, my money is my money. I'm keeping it close to my chest, but I will do things for myself that make me feel good. Whether that's
Mhm.
buying the latest Roomba, but people are sick of buying things right now. They're like, I've bought all the things. They don't have any
Well,
more
they
things
spend
they
at
want to
home
buy.
shopping on Amazon.
Yeah, they're like, we're now
Like,
they want the things for
included.
themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we this is my future forecasting. So what forecasting can you sit around and do for your business? Look at your books, ask your clients what they want. Think about the things that you can bring in. It doesn't have to be forever. For my April, I am literally created a specialty menu. It's called special menu that's just for April.
Ooh, I did see that.
Yeah.
And actually, I have to say, I was at dinner with my in-laws, and even my mother-in-law was like, "So where's Cybil at now?" And I was just like, "Why is she asking me this?" I was like, "Oh, she's on your email list. That's why."
But you want to keep it kind of a little bit fresh. You want to keep it different. And for me, I know that inherently my April is my worst month of the year. It's like
Mhm.
it's the worst. It's the worst for me. I just don't do well. Tax season is brutal, and this is an extra hard year for me. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to lean into that and just make exceptionally fun facials and put them at a kind of a good discount for me. So for people, I
Mhm.
was just like, see if I can get some people that I haven't seen in a while, and it's working.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 80% booking within 2 days. Yeah,
That's
not too bad.
massive.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
too bad.
So with this like, short time limited menu, how like did you go for simple? Did you go for less expensive? Like how did you do that?
So I have how I kind of do menus is almost always the same. I always try to get 5 items on it. For me, I always try to do one that's just a hydrofacial because my clients love hydrofacial. And
I love
hydrofacial,
facial.
I try to do it where it's like a shorter product time, but it makes me the most amount of money. And so for
Mhm.
that, I just did an OG price where people who haven't seen me in a while could be like, I recognize that price. It's the rock bottom price that you can get that you're legally allowed to like sell hydrofacial for. And I'm like, I'm just going to do that price and it'll get people incentivized and in the door. And
Mhm.
I actually thought most of my clients were going to go for that. They didn't. They went for my nap time facial, which goes to show you I did a specialty nap time facial that didn't have hydrofacial on it. And that was more like catered to like the sensual massage. And it's all like citrus and crystals and all this like other stuff. That is the
Mm.
number one that people booked, which goes to show
Mm.
you that that's what people are looking for. They're looking for more time in the bed, something exciting and different, and just like that like experience, that experiential treatment.
Yeah. Is that nap time facial the same price as your regular nap time facial?
It is not. So my regular nap time is 385. This one's 325. So it's
Because you
still a
took
good
out the
price.
hydrofacial, right?
Yeah, but without the hydrofacial, whereas my regular nap time is 385 with a hydrofacial.
Cool. Okay.
So still a good deal, still a good deal. Lots of
Yeah.
other stuff stacked on it, but it's like incentive. So once again, when I do facial menus, I try to never do apples to apples. I always try apples to
No.
oranges,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never want people to be like, oh, but I can absolutely say that I'm saving this much money all the time. I
No.
did make sure that I put down my nap time facial is usually this much money, and I had a strikeout. And like, though the nap time that now is this much money.
Of course. Of course you did.
So people
One
can
must
have an
always.
idea, right?
Yeah.
And then I have another facial on there that is my myosculpting, which is the Japanese and Russian facelifting massage. And that one's usually $4.99. I set it down for $3.99, and that's my second most popular right now, just because people really just want like some deep massage on their face and they want to look incredible.
Hmm.
That's always a good seller. And then I did a glow with the flow, which is just reflexology, facial reflexology. And I think a lot of people just want to try it. And so that one was interesting. And that one's super inexpensive.
Yes.
It's super inexpensive. And I think people who are just like, I haven't seen Cybil in a long time. And I just want to come in and get her to touch me. That'll be great.
Yeah.
So
That one too, with like the homework of it, is so effective. It's so cool.
yeah, so I think people who are just kind of into that wanted to have that. And then my final one was a facial where It's just for like the kind of people who are in between, or kind of like, I want a little massage, but I also want the hydrofacial. And so I did kind of an extended hydrofacial with that had extra massage in it. And I've had no bookings for that one, which is interesting enough. So you never know what you're going to get. And it could have been that my price point wasn't right for that, or just people were like, oh, I found what I was looking for in the in-between.
Yeah. Do you find that most clients book the same facial each time?
That's a
Like
great
if you're a nap
question.
time person, are you going to book a nap time every time?
Most people actually do book the same facial every time. If you are a nap time, you're absolutely a ride and die nap time facial person. If you're a hydrofacial, you're always looking for a hydrofacial. And then there are the people who kind of like are just like looking for different things. And then you have the person who's just shopping by budget. They're like, I want to see Cybil, but I can only afford this much. This is my budget.
Right. So yeah, it's a little bit for everyone. So keeping that in mind as well as you are creating these different menus or special menus or whatever.
Right. And that's why I kind of have those. I tend to have those like 5 that I do. And I really am careful with my price points and then what's included in those when I'm doing. Listen, one of the biggest things I do with business consulting is I work on menus with people because I've freaking done so many at this point.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like, be mindful. Don't be like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that stuff sticks, because that confusion also confuses your clients.
I know. Well, and menus are complicated. I know that when I first was in business, menus like broke me. I think we have 3 episodes on menus because
we talk about menus all the time.
Yeah. Menus have broken me.
Keep it simple, please.
Keep it simple, please. Oh my gosh. With you, Alex, I know this is running a little longer than sometimes we do, but with you, Alex, when you think about your business, now that you're kind of future forecasting, have you thought about anything differently when you're like, now that you're thinking about it, do you actually future forecast at all?
No.
Are you thinking about future forecasting now?
I mean, I'm thinking about it in this conversation right now. Yeah, which I think is an interesting question, because I always had the goal to reach the prices that I'm at and have been incrementally, like pushing it up to that point, and I've reached that point. So yeah, then the question really is like, well, what's next? And I don't know. I don't know. I think, like I've said, I'm kind of in like a, let's get cozy kind of like, let's just like skate for a little bit, only because there has been no skating for so long. So we're just like letting it be what it could be,
So I do want to make sure that everyone understands that goal setting is very different than future forecasting. So when you're thinking about goal setting, that is goal setting. Future forecasting is looking at what your business is doing based on what the future has to hold, based on kind of the world. And you can look at your goals and be like, hey, this is what my goals might be because of the future of the world. But your goals are your goals. And I never put them together. I'm like, well, because the Olympics are coming to town, clearly I'm going to make X amount more dollars. Right? That could be considered future forecasting. Personally, I think that's silly future forecasting. I think you say, okay, because the Olympics are coming to town, I might know that the traffic is going to be heavier, or I might want to like put more budget into marketing. That is future forecasting.
I like that distinction. That's super helpful.
Yeah, that's why I like to make sure because I have talked to people about future forecasting, and they'll be like, that's goal setting. I'm like, no, they're very different.
Yeah, which I think I'm a little like adverse to goal setting right now. So future forecasting feels far more.
It's hard for me. Goal setting is hard for me right now. I feel everyone out there who's like, no, which is why I'm like, future forecasting is just kind of looking at what the future has to hold and thinking, what can I learn from it for my business?
Yeah.
Look into my crystal ball and see what I can understand to utilize for my business for that future. That's it.
Well, I think too, it's just like, we talk about this all the time, just like not being stagnant and not doing like this is how I've always done it. It's like, you need to respond, because like life is ever changing for sure.
Life is ever changing. It is true. All right, people, this has been this is really like one of those really high level, high topic conversations. Yes. At some point you'll come back and be like, all of a sudden I understood that and it changed my life.
I hope too. But we want to hear, like, are you future forecasting in your business? Are you thinking of these? Is even that distinction between goal setting and future forecasting, was that helpful? I know for me, it was definitely helpful. So send us a DM. You can tag us on social media. The show is at Skinfessional. You can find Cybil at Skin Fitness Expert, and you can find me at Hala for Mala, or you can call our box and leave a voicemail on the Skinfessional box. And
Oh
what's
my
that
gosh.
number?
The number for that is 818-473-5277.
I did not want to call it the Skinfectional box.
No, no.
No. Also, if you want to send us a little message, a little email, or electronic email kind of situation, the show is what am I talking about? Our email
Alex is
address
having
is
trouble talking today. Apparently, I understand. We've had those days.
It's apparently skinfessionalpod@gmail.com. That's skinfessional, like the show name, pod@gmail.com.
And you can go ahead and leave Alex mad props for it. She does a lot of the heavy lifting of the speaking for the show. So yay.
What?
Okay.
Thank you. Gracious.
That's right. So until next week.
Keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us. Okay.
Bye.